Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Evans. I'm the director of the YouTube concerts that the School of Music at SUNY Schenectady has been presenting this last summer, and now we have one for you this evening. Our pianist is Iida Nyman. She's an alumna, 2017 from SUNY Schenectady, and she also went on to get her Bachelor of Music from SUNY Purchase. She now studies with Stephanie Brown there, working on her performer certificate. She's also working at SUNY Schenectady as a professional music tutor. And a lot of my students have gone to her, and especially during this time, during the pandemic, she's been really an essential worker for our students. So thank you for that. I want to talk about this concert, which is pretty huge, right? What's the first piece on the program, Iida?
The first piece is Bach's B flat partita.
Okay,
It's the first one in a series of six that he composed.
right, and it's a large work. The partitas are made up of a suite, right? You have a prelude, allemande, courante, sarabande, a couple of minuets, and a gigue.
Yes.
And that's followed by a Beethoven sonata, and not just any Beethoven sonata. We're looking at his what we call his late period. With Beethoven, when we think about Beethoven, we think early period, middle period, and late period. And his late compositions, which include, for instance, the Ninth Symphony, and his three last piano sonatas, they are from another world, really. And so we'll talk about that piece a lot, but then you close out the recital with what work?
Chopin's Fourth Scherzo in E major.
Okay, and so interestingly enough, the Beethoven is a late work, and the Chopin is kind of a late work too, isn't it? It's Opus 54, which is towards the end of his life. And I think it's fitting that Bach is first because Beethoven looked to Bach and Chopin looked to Bach. Especially Beethoven, though. Beethoven's last sonatas, his last movements end in a kind of a form which we would consider a Baroque form. For instance, his Opus 109, which is a set of theme and variations, that's how that closes. And his last sonata, Opus 111, also closes with theme and variations, which is a Baroque style. In the work that you're doing, Iida, what is the last movement? How does it? What's the form of it?
Well, the last movement is pretty unusual for sure. It begins with this kind of slower arioso section, which kind of serves as an introduction to a fugue. And then not only do we get a fugue, we also then get a second arioso, and then there's yet another fugue on top of that.
So, right, a double fugue. And it seems to me, especially late in life, I know Beethoven, especially Brahms as well, they often bring back the works of the Baroque style. And these fugues are kind of the highest form of art, I think, is how Beethoven looked at it. Can you play the opening of the first fugue? Just the subject. Good. And how about the opening of the second fugue? And tell us, is it different? Is it similar? So,
So the kind of differences between them is the first fugue has this rising fourths pattern, whereas the second fugue has them as kind of falling fourths.
right, sort of
So
the opposite, isn't it? Yeah.
exactly.
That's so interesting. And it's so interesting to couple it with an arioso, which is Beethoven's markings, calls it a kind of lament. And arioso, really, you'll find in opera, right? It's sort of a dramatic aria. And even the opening of that last movement, it begins like a recitative. It's almost like alien music to me in a way. There's this repeated A for some reason that he keeps doing. I wonder if you could play a little bit of that for us to just give us a preview. Wow. I think what is he doing there? What is he saying? I wonder. You know, his thought process, it's so improvisatory.
For sure.
Yeah. And then yet out of it comes this incredible music. And I guess we would speak one more thing about Beethoven, which you know, his life was, he was a great composer, obviously, and he knew about his immortality. He knew his music would last a long time, but he suffered quite a bit. And he felt that, I think, music was his great salvation as well as what he would give to mankind. And so that arioso, which is so sad, it's followed by this fugue, which is very joyful, frankly, to me, as if to say, you know what, music is going to win out from all of this. So it's so great how you play it. It's such a huge piece. Wow. Let's see. Why don't you give us a little bit of the Chopin, how it starts? That's wonderful. Good. We don't want to give it all away. So this program, you're working actually also as on your master's audition.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And
Yeah.
what do they expect you to play for them? Is it part of a pre-screening that you need to do, or how does that work?
The specific pre-screenings kind of vary from school to school, and obviously this audition cycle is very different from others due to restrictions with COVID.
Right.
For the majority of them, they would like a romantic piece and a piece by Beethoven or any other classical composer. So I have presented Chopin's Fourth Scherzo and Beethoven's Opus 110. Some of them also want a Baroque piece, which would be the Bach's Partita in B flat. Some of them also want an etude, in which I am currently working on Chopin's Opus 10 number 2.
The A minor. Wow. Well, it's going to be wonderful, and I'm sure that it's going to be a fantastic pre-screening tape that you'll make, and I wish you all the best. Well, and Iida, thank you so much for performing tonight or this evening, and everyone stay tuned. It's going to be a fantastic program, and we'll see you in a few minutes.